Oh, splendid.
As long as it doesn't interfere with his cooking.
No, Bingo does.
Richard wants to get married. Well, I'm not altogether sure that I approve of that. Who is the lady?
Well, as a matter of fact, she's a waitress.
This is remarkable. This is most cheering. I have not given the boy credit for such tenacity of purpose. I recollect that when I first had the pleasure of making your acquaintance last year, Richard was desirous of marrying this waitress.
Yes, it is good, isn't it? Of course, it's not exactly the same waitress. But still, it's a waitress.
I did a lot of work with heavy drinkers for my PhD. And one thing I found they all had in common was that as children, they'd be deprived of alcohol.
My point exactly.
That's the basis of his whole treatment.
Mr. Bertram Wooster to see you, sir.
What-ho?
Bertie Wooster. Good Lord.
Oh, what-ho, Honoria?
You're Mrs. Snap?
We met outside.
And this is Dr. Blair Eggleston.
How do you do?
Bertie and I were engaged once, weren't we, Bertie?
Well...
Bertie's an absolute fool. Just let me slip through his fingers.
Silly me.
You ought to see something of each other again. Bertie can show you around New York.
Oh, yes, I say. That would be super.
Well...
And how did you find Lord Bittlesham, Bertie?
Well, to tell you the absolute truth, Sir Roderick, I couldn't quite work it out. I mean, I thought he was here to lose weight. But there he was, hoovering in the scoff like a team of dray horses after a hard day delivering beer. I mean, of course, I know nothing of medical matters.
No, of course not. The Glossop method is based on the patient being given an excess of whatever it is he most desires, as it may be alcohol, or the companionship of the opposite sex, or as in Lord Bittlesham's case, food. The patient will eventually revolt at the sheer immoderation of it and voluntarily deny himself.
Yeah, sort of get it out of his system.
Precisely.
Is it successful?
It's theoretically impeccable, Bertie, and extremely popular.
Yes, I should think it would be.
The medical profession in England are a cartel of backward-looking dinosaurs.
You mustn't upset yourself, Daddy.
No, quite. Shall we go to lunch?
I haven't got time for lunch, Roderick. You know that.
Oh, surely you can.
No. I've got the linen to check. We can't trust these girls to do it.
I'll tell you something about Roderick Glossop, Jeeves. He has something on his mind. Conversing with him, one felt that his thoughts were far away and his thoughts were stinkers.
It's possible that it is Sir Roderick's situation with regard to Mrs. Snap that is causing him chagrin, sir.
There was a situation with Mrs. Snap.
Oh, indeed, sir. Ever since Lady Glossop eloped with the conductor who befriended her on the 73 omnibus, Sir Roderick has keenly missed the comforts of connubiality and has been eager to remarry.
He wants to marry Myrtle Snap.
Precisely so, sir, but Mrs. Snap refuses to consider such a venture, while Sir Roderick's daughter remains unmarried. In a colourful turn of phrase, she stated that certain specific and scarcely to be anticipated meteorological conditions would have to take place in the infernal regions before she would share a home with Miss Honoria.
Well, amen to that. But how do you know so much about the Glossops?
The butler, Dobson, is an old acquaintance, sir. Dobson has exceptionally keen hearing.
Listens at keyholes, you mean?
Precisely so, sir. He is gathering material for his memoirs. Will that be all, sir?
Yes, that'll be all, Jeeves. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Yeah, what, Bingo? How did it go with Uncle Mortimer? Not bad. I left him thinking it over. Thinking it over? If I was a bookie, I should feel justified in offering 100 to 8 against. 100 to 8? That's no blasted good. Might have known you'd muck it up. Well, I like that. Have you been to see him? He might have softened up by now. No, I'll go tomorrow. I'm playing tennis with Blair Eggleston this afternoon. Well, the doctor fellow, you know him, do you? Well, of course I know him. I wouldn't be playing tennis with him otherwise. We play twice a week, and he spends the whole game telling me about his miserable love life. What's wrong with his love life? Honoria Glossop is. He's madly in love with her, and he can't bring himself to tell her. But he's the most frightful hearty. A doctor and good-looking and all that sort of thing. I know. You'd think he'd be a menace to the sex and have to be kept on a leash in the interest of pure womanhood. But put him alone in a room with a woman, and he comes over all faint and has to ask for a glass of water. Yeah. What a lesson to us all, Bingo. Well, not you, as it happens. Bingo! What? No, I mean Bingo. Inspiration has struck. About my uncle. Well, not in this instance, no. Honoria Glossop has been making definite tally-hoes in my direction. I need to throw her off the scent. I would also be doing my old chum Roderick Glossop a good turn. Look, you're seeing Eggleston this afternoon, you say? Yes. Well, just try and drop it into the conversation, will you, that he'd better heat up his feet and grab Honoria while the grabbing's good, because you happen to know that someone else is making a heavy play in her direction and may have the deal sewn up at any moment. All right. But who's making a heavy play in her direction? Bertram is, Bingo. Jeeves always thinks he's so dashed clever about these affairs of the heart. I sometimes wonder if he doesn't think I'm a complete idiot. He's also getting a bit above himself in matters of headgear. Now, you leave it to Bertram.
Yesterday afternoon. He's consumed with jealousy, Bertie. Good, good. I kept telling him what fun you and Honoria were having, going about together. If he wasn't grinding his teeth, then I don't know a ground tooth when I hear one. People on the next court were complaining about the noise.
Excellent. By the way, Bingo, not a word to Jeeves if you bump into him. You know how he likes to think that he's the only one who can sort out these little human emotional difficulties? I want to present him with a fait accompli. Uncle Bertram knows what he's doing. Pip, pip.
Bertie, I have something important to tell you.
You on for tonight?
Well, to tell you the truth, Bertie,
Aha! Blair Eggleston.
Bertie!
Toodle pip, Honoria. Jeeves?
Good afternoon, sir.
It is, Jeeves. It certainly is. Yes, let me entertain you a while with a story of a coup in the field of human relations, such as... Oh, answer then, will you, Jeeves? I don't home to anybody.
Very good, sir. Mr. Wooster's residence? No, Miss Glossop. I really couldn't say, Miss Glossop. No, miss. Very good, miss. Indeed, miss. Well, congratulations, Miss Glossop. I hope you will be very happy. Goodbye.
Miss Glossop, Jeeves?
Indeed it was, sir. A most mysterious telephone call.
Tell me what she said, Jeeves, then I shall reveal all.
She asked me to tell you, sir, that Dr. Eggleston proposed to her last evening.
Last evening?
And that she had accepted his proposal, but before she could tell you so, something, and she did not specify what it was, but said that you would know, sir, happened, and that Dr. Eggleston witnessed this occurrence and subsequently broke the engagement.
Oh,
no! However, she asked me to inform you, sir, that she will now marry you.
What?
She says that while you may not be the man of her dreams, she feels that your patient love should be rewarded. Oh, no. Oh, Jeeves. But we were interrupted, sir. There was something you wished to tell me? Could I do something for you, sir?
No, that's all right. Thank you, Jeeves. You carry on. A problem has arisen in the life of a friend of mine, Jeeves, who shall be nameless, and I want, or rather, he wants, your advice.
Certainly, sir.
Well, now, I must begin by saying that this is one of those delicate problems where not only must my friend be nameless, but all the other personnel as well.
Would you prefer it if we were to term the protagonists A and B, sir?
Yes, or north and south.
A and B is more customary, sir.
Yes, well, you know best, Jeeves. Very well. Now then, A is male and B female. You follow me so far?
You have been lucidity itself, sir.
Right. Well, owing to a, what's that, What's that something of circumstances you hear people talking about? Cats come into it, if I remember rightly.
Would concatenation be the word for which you are groping, sir?
That's it. Owing to a concatenation of circumstances, B has got it into her nut that A is in love with her, but he isn't. Now then, until recently, B was engaged to...
Should we call him C, sir?
Yes, well, Caesar is as good a name as any, I suppose. Yes, well, as I was saying, until recently, B was engaged to Caesar, and A hadn't got a care in the world. But now there's been a rift within the lute, the fixture's been scratched, and B